First of all, let's talk about how do we overcome all these things before they ever come up. So that way, once you ask for the sale, they just pick option A or B, give you the form of payment, dot the I's, cross the T's, they sign your sales agreement, voila, you've got a client now, your sales hat is no longer on. There's something called the PAR-Q, right? Physical Activity Readiness Questionnaire. And this back part is what I call the power PAR-Q, because the first part is a regular PAR-Q, right? We get their date, the name, the address, contact information, height, weight, gender. But what I did is I actually took the backside and I made it a sales tool. And so the backside asks questions like, do you ever feel weak, tired, and sluggish? It starts off very benign questions, very yes and no. And it goes on to, how many meals do you eat each day? We're going to see that how many meals do you eat each day, that question's going to come back up during that selling process. Do you eat breakfast? That'll come up. Do you crave sugary foods? That will come up, right? Do you need several cups of coffee to get through the day? That will definitely come up, right? Of course, one of my favorite ones is, are you happy with the way you look and feel in your health? It's a yes or a no, right? This leads you easily to asking that question. Oh, I see that you're not happy with the way you look and feel. Can I ask what it is that you'd want to change? It gives you permission to ask a question that you would otherwise have a hard time bringing up. The one after that, one of my most favorite is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you about achieving your goals? Now we're starting to get into conquering objections, as you'll see. And it's a scale that goes from 1 to 10. Simple enough, right? If you're least serious, you're going to circle a 1. If you're most serious, you're going to circle a 10. Most people are going to circle a 6, 7, or 8. That's just how they are. No one wants to be like, yeah, I'm gung-ho, man. And no one's going to be like, yeah, I'm not going to do this. But guess what that does? That kind of puts you into, opens you up for this objection here, the think about it objection. It opens you up for the spousal objection, and it may open you up for the time objection. In fact, if they put anything but a 9 or a 10, this is what you're going to do as you're studying their PAR-Q, right? This is before you ever sell them, before you sit down for the selling. You say, oh, gee, Mrs. Jones, I see that you put that you're an 8 on a scale of 1 to 10 with how serious you are. And while 8 is pretty serious, I notice you're not a 9 or a 10. I'm curious, what's stopping you from putting a 10 on this paper, right? Now, they might say, I'm just being realistic because I've started workout and diet programs before and I've quit them and, gee, I'm just being realistic. But likely they might say, well, I don't know if I can afford this program. And so if I can't afford it, I don't want to say I'm a 10. Or, I don't know if I'll have enough time to do this program. Or, I've given up before, right? So whatever they give you, that's ammunition to work on. So if they said, for example, well, I don't know, I put an 8 because I'm not sure if I can afford your program. You go, you know what, Mrs. Jones, I totally understand. Your answer to everything starts with, I understand. I understand. But if I can show you programs at the end of our workout today that fit your budget and that fit your schedule, is there anything else that would stop you from starting this program today? Nope. Great. Then I'm going to put you down as a 10. So you scratch off the 8 and you circle the 10. And you always get their permission. Okay? Great. You're leading the conversation even though you're asking the questions and getting their permission, right? And so at the end of the day, you want to make sure before you even ask for money that you've circled the 10 or they circled the 10 before you ever move ahead. So I would say, all right, Mrs. Jones, now that we figured out that you're a 10 because you said if I show you a program that fits your budget, there's nothing else stopping you, so I definitely have programs that'll fit your budget. I see that you said you can work out 3 times a week. Now, is this pretty realistic with your schedule, right? I'm going to confirm that. Yes, it is. So, like with your work and your family life and everything you've got going on, you can get here 3 times a week, right? Yep. Fantastic. Do you think you can do 4 days a week? No, I could do 3. Great. If they say 4, write it down, 3 or 4, right? Because now you might present a 3 or 4 time a week program. You see where we're headed here, right? And so you confirm that they can do 3 times a week. There are 10. We just overcame a lot of these objections right off the bat. And that's important. Why? Because later on, if they give you one of these objections, you go back to your PAR-Q, you go, look, remember when you told me that you're a 10? Remember when you told me that you're telling me you can't work out, you don't have the time to work out, but we talked about it. You said you can do 3 days a week. Oh, yeah. So those are your big objections, but just understand typically the spouse and the think about it objections are what they call smoke screens. And what they're really saying is, I don't want to afford it, not I can't afford it, I don't want to afford it, or I don't have the time. Most people, if you play your cards right, will be like, all right, I'm going to take option A or B, and they give you the credit card, and you're off to the races. Every now and again, you'll get one objection. Welcome that, because it's just a little shit test, and that shit test is this person like committed to selling me? Just look at it that way. And you're just going to overcome it. Mrs. Jones, we've already talked about it. You know it fits your budget. God forbid you lose your job. If you get downsized, whatever, we're not tying you into a contract. We've got a 30-day money back guarantee in the beginning. And anytime in the program, you just give us a 30-day notice and you're done. And so should the worst case happen, you have to leave the country, you have to leave the state, get a new job somewhere, you lost your job, there are ways for you to get out of this program. But right now, let's focus on what your goals are, which is getting you in awesome and amazing shape, because we have that goal to get to, the 6-week goal, the 14-day goal, whatever that goal was, which is why you want to remember and constantly bring up those goals.